Thank you so much, Laksh, for that kind introduction. On behalf of everyone, I'd again like to welcome Mr. Chairman to India. It's an absolute pleasure and honor to have you each time here. And we wish you come back more often because this is what you've created. I mean, you're seeing it in front of you. So I'll just go through the last 15 years in the next 5 or 7 minutes. Just to take you back to where it started, sir. And this is what was India when you decided to come to this country. We were a very small country with just 900 billion as our GDP. We were ranked 14th in the world. Our per capita was just $814 per person. The total mutual fund AUM was just 39 billion, which was 4% of the GDP at that point of time. And the AMC industry had 30 AMCs in India, out of which 11 were foreign. This is when you took that great decision to come here, and that decision, I must say, has changed all our lives, has changed our careers, and today we sit in front of you as very proud members of the Mirae Asset family. Cut to today, and you see what's happened and how the country has changed dramatically. The Indian GDP is 3.8 trillion. We are ranked 5 in the world. We wouldn't have dreamt that we would be number 5 in the world. Our per capita has broken that psychological threshold of $2,000 and is now $2,300. And globally, when a country breaches the $2,000 per capita, it goes into an exponential growth stage. So that's why probably Lux said we are at a very interesting space in India. The AMC AUM now is 492 billion, almost 12% of the GDP, and I can say the financialization of assets is beginning to start in India. And the last line is my favorite because now there are 42 AMCs, out of which there are just 3 foreign AMCs left. From 11 foreign AMCs, there are just 3 foreign players in the industry. And we, Mirae Asset, we, Mirae Asset, are the only organic story amongst these 3. The other 2 are acquisition stories. So from a standalone financial arm like Mirae Asset is in Korea, we are beginning to make that story happen in India, and I'm so happy to present that in front of you. What you started with your vision is beginning to take some shape in India. As we go on, this is now backed with some very interesting bottom line changes in India because 2 things are happening. One is the change of investor behavior, which is very significant because what you call RSP in India is now the go-to investment vehicle in India. People now in India are investing systematically monthly, and that's the backbone of the industry. And to say we are 4%, no, I'm sorry, we are 7% of this in Mirae Asset in India, which is a complete contradiction to the size versus what our share should be. So this is one of our highlights. We are almost 7% of the RSP book of India in market share. The second part is that the risk-taking profile of Indians have changed. It is a young country, as you would know. The younger are economically superior, and more important, information is very high with them. So their risk-taking profile is changing. Hence, our ability to give them differentiated products from here on is going to be a very interesting story as the story of asset management unfolds in India in times to come. There is also a dramatic regulatory push, and this is what paves the way for the future because today India is a very good smartphone penetration story. Hence, our ability to cut across the country with information is fairly easy. And secondly, it is probably a breakthrough country when it comes to payment gateway, the way money is transferred. We at AMFI and at the Mutual Fund Action Committee will make UPI a way to collect mutual fund money too. It's just a matter of time. So that will again change the way the country will invest in the next 2-3 years to say. With that at a sort of backdrop, I'd just like to say what is the future. And the future definitely, and something which you predicted some time ago, is the passives in India. And we at Mirae Asset are getting ready for this in India. This passive growth is at this moment backed by some government money. But in the last 2 years, we've seen the retail or the individual investors starting to invest through the passive route. And thanks to the ETF team, we have very, very differentiated offerings in the country in the form of thematics. We work very closely with Global X also. We're trying to get their products to India. And in a short period of 3 years, we today stand as a fairly known brand, as a future passive house in India. So we're probably that unique brand which, thanks to the investment team, very strong in active alpha generation at the same time, through differentiated stories are looking strong from a future perspective in the growth of passives for Mirae Asset in India. So as an asset manager, I think we are well placed to become a diversified player in the next 5-10 years. And we look forward to that journey, and we look forward to showing you that journey next time you come. But to take this forward on the basis of our organization, you've always told us 4 things. And those are the 4 pillars of Mirae Asset. And we have one rule in India following the client-first approach, is that we in India believe that what is right for the investor is right for us. There is no other rule. And that's laid down by the client-first approach. Thanks to the investment team, again, we are very clear in our objectivities. We'll give them a good product, and the fund management team has ensured that the product has remained good for the last 14 years as we enter the 15 year of track record. I don't think there is any asset manager in India which has this kind of unblemished track record so far. Equity track record is there for you to see. In the last 3 years, probably we've seen one of the worst phase of credits in India, and none of our debt funds have had a single credit issue, as I stand proudly in front of you representing them. The other 2 very important part is you are seeing one part of the team, and I stand here on behalf of them very proudly to say that we are becoming a very strong team in India. You just went and saw the new capital markets office, and that's the size and the number of people there is staggering for me to see. But we are around 300, 350. They will be 350 in just a matter of 14, 15 years. We have some 600, 700 people in front of you. And we promise you that we'll work together in the next years to come to make Mirae an incredible name in India in the next decade. The last one is something which we've learned from you through your foundation there, and I'm extremely proud and happy to speak on behalf of the foundation that we've reached out to a lot of young children, a lot of needy children, a lot of needy students across, from toddlers to management students through the foundation. We've helped them during the pandemic. We've vaccinated some 20, 30,000 people here in Mumbai. And then the foundation is now giving our brand a very different outlook when people look at Mirae Asset from the outside. The kind of feedback we got when we went and vaccinated people in the thick of the pandemic was something which took the brand to a different level. So we completely base our business on these 4 principles, and we hope to build it on this in the years to come. Just to conclude before I end, sir, I just wanted to say this is the first phase of our business which we've completed. I think we've been satisfactory in that, but the challenges start as we build and we begin to look at the second phase of the industry or our growth. In that period, the industry has grown by 17.5%. We've grown at 57.5%. So we've been ahead of the industry year on year on the growth rate. When we started in 2008, our AUM was, the total industry AUM was, we were 24 million in 2008. Our rank was 30 out of 35 AMCs in India. Today, it was my wish to stand in front of you and say we are top 10. We are actually top 10 by month-end AUM, but they follow an average AUM perspective. So we're just knocking on the doors of being the top 10 asset manager in India. With an AUM of over 14 billion, and more important, sir, 5.5 million accounts of investors we have, with no rupee of guarantee to any investor. As a Korean firm, we own the trust of this many investors is something which I say with a lot of pride to you. But the real journey starts now, and it's a very, very special year for us because we look at 15 years of India journey of Mirae Asset in India. And trust me, if you would have asked me 10 years ago, will we complete 15 years? I would have thought. But it's your faith, it is your conviction, and to a lot of new people who are sitting here, let me narrate that when I joined this organization, we were not as strong as we look today. And I spent 5 years, I think you can go and ask Nilesh or Krishna or Ritesh, anybody, all of us. It was very tough, those 5-6 years. But not a single call from Mr. Chairman. That showed the amount of trust and faith that he had on all of us. And when somebody trusts you, this becomes easy, right? So we look forward to the next 15 years with a lot of vigor, with a lot of passion. And the next 15 years will show the real aura of Mirae Asset in India, and we'll present that to you with a lot of happiness. So thank you so much for coming here and really, really making our lives so special and changing our lives, all of us in this room and all the other colleagues who are not in this room. You've made an incredible impact on all of us, and we look up to you as a role model, and that's just saying too little actually. But to see what Mirae Asset has really become, we have a short video. Post this, I would really appreciate it if you just looked at the video which the team has created on Mirae Asset India today.